on the call today, I have Brother Clyde Strong, who is the pastor of Bethel Baptist Church here in College Station. Is it in College Station or Bryan? What's it considered?
It's College Station.
Okay. And he's been the long-term pastor there for a while, and I'll let him talk about that here in a second. But he's going to be one of our breakout session leaders for our annual gathering, which is going to be October 21st from 10 a.m. to 2 in the afternoon. We're going to have our breakouts, 2 rounds of breakouts. Then we're going to have our lunch and our business session, followed by our main speaker, Dr. Steve Viers. But for the speakers for our breakouts, I wanted them to be pastors of our local churches here, because I really do believe that we have a lot of wisdom. We have a lot of skills and talents here amongst the pastors in our network. And I'd like to see those pastors helping other churches learn what they've learned and pouring their wisdom into our sister churches. So one of the pastors I've asked to be one of our breakout session leaders is Brother Clyde. So Clyde, just tell us a little bit about yourself, your ministry, and maybe a little bit about your church.
Well, I have been a bivocational pastor at Bethel Baptist for 33 years now, and started 1990. It's an old church. We had our 150th anniversary in 2019. So we're over 150 years old, and it started out as a rural church a few miles down the road, but it got so muddy on the dirt road, they decided to move the church closer to town. So that's where we ended up, at the corner of Harvey Road and Highway 30, which is where we presently are. But anyway, we still call it a country church. We have a lot of mostly an older congregation, although we've had college students and others coming through, and families and so forth. But it's still more of an older congregation. And has that heritage. We do church picnics, and we go to Bubba's Ranch and do our Easter sunrise services, and have hay rides and things like that. So that's kind of the nature of our church. But anyway, it's very, very loving, very giving congregation. They are definitely willing to step up and do whatever hard work needs to be done, and whether that's sharing Christ or cleaning up the church grounds or whatever that might be. So anyway, it's been a very great experience for someone like myself, who really, I don't have a seminary background. I haven't didn't really know what I was getting into when I stepped up as the bivocational pastor many years ago.
Yeah. There's sort of 2 terms that are being used today to talk about pastors at work, another job alongside the church, and that's either bivocational or co-vocational. And a bivocational pastor is usually someone that out of necessity has to work a second job, but a co-vocational is someone who does it by choice. They want to sort of take that burden off the church, so by choice they're going to intentionally work another job alongside their ministry. Which one of those 2 categories do you sort of fall into, Clyde?
I didn't realize there were 2 categories, but I'm definitely co-vocational.
Yeah.
When I first joined, I have a training consulting business I retired from about a year and a half ago. But when I first stepped in as the pastor, I told them that I wanted them to pay me exactly what I was worth, and that was 0. And that's what they did for a number of years. And finally, they insisted that I at least take a housing allowance. So that's really all the compensation that I'm taking from the church.
Yeah. Well, I worked bivocationally for a little while when I first started planting the church that we planted back in Georgia. So I understand some of the stress and the challenges that comes with having to split your time. So I really wanted someone just to come and share with other pastors that might be in that situation, or maybe someone that's praying about going into that type of a situation. And so I think the title we came up with for your breakout is something along the lines of a key to long-term, bivocational ministry. And so, or keys, not just one specific key, but what are some of the things that God has shown you? So without doing the breakout now, just maybe give us a little bit of a highlight. Maybe what's one thing that God's taught you, or maybe something that that's been a key in your life to be able to be so long term and to serve the church in the way you have?
I guess the one word, it would be humility.
Okay.
Just uh, just I've I've never felt uh, I guess qualified is probably not the right word. The Lord qualified me when He called me to be the pastor, but I don't. I've told my congregation many times I don't want to ever hear anyone say, "Brother Clyde said," the Bible says, God said. So, and just I remember when I first started, we one of our Sunday school teachers just wasn't present. And
Mm,
so one of our members said, "Well, Brother Clyde, when you work in a small church, you've got to learn to do many things. So you need to step up and be our Sunday school teacher today." So anyway, it's very humbling to
mm,
to do something like this. I mean, in my secular job, my training consulting, I'm the boss and I'm the big dog, and I've I've got papers and books and all kinds of things to go along with those credentials. But when it comes to the church, it's it's just very humbling to
right.
know that God's using me and to
Yeah,
see what He can do.
that's great. And you said 1990 was when you came there. So you're what, 32, 33 years that you've been there?
It was Father's Day. It was middle of June, 1990. So yeah.
Okay. Wow. So 33 years there at the same church. So that's even a different challenge than just bivocational ministry, just long term. So what's been sort of the key in your life as far as hanging in there for so long? I've said this before. I think you're the longest tenured pastor in our network. And so you've been at it for a long time. What's been the key to hanging in there so long?
I think it's the uh, delegating, or just the fact that the congregation is willing to step up and do things.
Mm,
My job took me out of town a lot. And so I wasn't there for Wednesday night prayer meetings a lot of times, or Sunday evenings sometimes. And the Lord always provided someone to step in and do those kind of things. So it uh, wasn't stressful, I guess, in the sense of worrying about that. People would always step up, and they continue to do that. That's just been I think it's just the nature of this particular church,
yeah.
that people uh, are always willing to have done whatever needed to be done in my absence.
Well, that's a tremendous blessing. It really is. Well, I'm looking forward to our annual meeting. It's always a great time for our pastors to gather, to fellowship together, but also to learn from one another. So I'm looking forward to everything else you're going to be able to share with those that come to your breakout. Again, it's October 21st. So thank you, Clyde, for being on the phone call with me, and look forward to seeing you then.
All right, thank you. I'm looking forward to it.